Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maggie. Today we're going to be doing my December budget recap. So we're going to be looking at what I budgeted versus what actually happening, calculating some numbers like my savings rate, and updating some different trackers. So let's go ahead and begin. I like to start with my December paycheck report. So on this sheet, I just write down the date, if it's active or passive, the amount, and a little bit of a description of the money that came into my account and that I used for December. So the first two here are both from November, the 15th and the 30th. I am a month ahead with my salary for paychecks. So what I earn in one month, I actually use the next month so that I'm a month ahead. So the first two here are my salary checks. I'm paid twice a month. And then I have actual transactions from December. So the first one is $1.51 from Capital One Interest. I have a few high yield savings accounts there, so I earn, a few cents every month. $141.78 from YouTube or Google AdSense. So I did receive a check from YouTube in December, which is great. If you're not familiar, for Google AdSense, for the money you make off of YouTube, you have to surpass $100 to get the check. You're not paid every month unless if it's over $100. So this has been a couple of months building. I did get a transfer from a friend on Venmo. We went to dinner and I paid, so she paid her portion back to me through Venmo, and I do include that because it offsets the total in my expense section. $9.78 from Betterment. I have a Roth IRA and a taxable account with Betterment, so these are the reinvested dividends. My boyfriend and I split some expenses in our household, like groceries and cleaning supplies and things of that nature. So this month he owed me $278 as I closed everything out from our receipts. And then lastly, $35.01 from my Capital One cashback credit card. I do use a credit card for most everyday expenses, so it's nice to get some cash back there. Total income, $4,895.60, and 91.95% is considered active. So you saw these A's and P's. That's how I consider things. If it takes energy and time and effort, then it's active. And if it's something that you didn't really have to do much for, I consider it passive. And 8.5% of my total income this month came from those passive sources. So one of my goals for the New Year's is to increase that percentage so that I'm not working for all the money that comes my way. So now that we know the total income and how much I was working with in December, let's flip it over and look at my budget results. So in this column, I have my budgeted, what I planned for the month. I have my actual column here, as well as the percentages. In order to calculate the percentage, I take the total I spent in the category and divide it by my total income so I can see what percentage of my income went to each category. And this has been super eye-opening for me to figure out areas that maybe are not worth cutting, or they're just fine. For example, subscriptions were only 1.12% of my total income. I'm comfortable with that. Whereas my groceries was 10%, my spending was 17%, almost 18%. Those are the areas I'd rather focus on cutting down than, cutting a bunch of things that are just 1% of my total income. So anyway, let's go through these. Anything with the check mark means that it was exact, so it's usually the bills. My insurance went down. I have a 6-month renewal, so now this is my new rate for the next 6 months, which is great to have that go down. Subscriptions, we ended up canceling Paramount, and so it came back down. And then anything in these parentheses is what my boyfriend contributed to, so he split some of the cost of the subscriptions with me. Grocery, barely below my $500 budget, but still below, and this was my boyfriend's portion of that. Gas was below, but still glad that I budgeted $100. I normally budget $60 a month. So it definitely was over that. We did drive down to the Twin Cities to visit family and stuff for Christmas, but not quite that full 100 mark, which is great. Spending was up a little bit. I was off of work. My boyfriend was off of work, so we were just eating out and being in town with friends a lot more than we normally do, which is something I need to keep in mind for next December, being that, Christmas is not a surprise. It's something you can plan for. So all that being said, my expense section was 82.99% of my total income, which I'm very happy with. My goal is to keep this under 65%. Moving into funds, most of these are up because I was able to contribute more to them. I don't know if I really have anything to point out. Let's see here, just that my emergency fund, any extra money I had this month, I shoveled towards my emergency fund because that's my big goal. So total fund section was 34% about. And lastly, the investments. So these are up. I do include the dividends I reinvested here in the total. So we can see that, I got about $4.95 here and $4.81 from my Roth IRA, which is great. And 2.86% of my total income went to post-tax investing. I do have a 401k and I have an HSA account. So those are pre-tax investments that don't show up on this, sheet of paper that we work through. So overall, I feel like I did a pretty good job in December. I felt like I finished off the year strong. I will be doing a year in review finance video here in a couple of days, so keep an eye out for that. Okay, so here's my December overview sheet. When I file these away in my notebook, this is the first sheet for the month. So I have my total income, the percentages, which we've looked at, and the different percentages for the different categories of my budget. Savings rate is what we're going to calculate next. So I'm going to flip this over. Before we do that, I guess we can go through the funds. So these are just some of the sinking funds that I share with you guys. I will kind of change this list occasionally, but generally these are the same ones I share. And I just put an arrow if it's up or down compared to last month. So my annual is up. This is a fund I use for annual subscriptions. And in December, I had my AAA membership for car tow service, things like that. It's $108 for the year, I believe, $115, something like that. So, it's easy enough to purchase for me, and to me, it's worth it for what I get. Miko's fund is down a little bit. That's my cat. I bulked up on cat food. I have 5 months worth of cat food for him. So we should be good for a while and let this build up. He goes through one bag a month. That's why I know it's 5 months. Let's see here. A couple of these I reset. So vacation, beauty, gifts, and home, I reset these at the end of the year. So I am, starting with 250, 50, 80, and 50 and all of those. Opportunity, I've talked about this. I've been building it up, and I actually was able to I pulled $90 out of this account, and we gave out Christmas cards to some of the, bartenders and service staff, servers and managers and all that of our favorite bars and restaurants, and gave them Christmas cards. So I pulled 90 from this account, pulled 90 from my gifts account, so that I put $20. There were 9 people, so I put $20 in each of the cards. My boyfriend also contributed, so we were able to give a really nice gift at the end of the year to the people that take really good care of us the rest of the year. So that felt really nice to be able to give back that way. And yeah, so let's move down to the savings rate. So this is something I calculate every month. It helps me determine how much of my money am I actually holding on to each month. So I have a couple of equations here. We'll talk through them. Letter A is right here. So it's the difference basically in the cash that I have on hand, be it physical cash or in the bank account. So this month, December minus November is a positive $358.73. So that means I added $358.73 at the end of the month. After I cleared, all my expenses, this is how much I added to those different accounts, which is great to see a positive number there. B is all of the investing. So I have the different types of accounts here, and I have one column for what I contributed and one column for what I earned. Now, December is, the end of December is earnings season, so we are seeing a lot of different, numbers here. There are definitely times where this is blank. So that was nice to have all those come through. So in my investments, I ended up doing $637.14. Then letter C is my mortgage principal. So there's kind of 2 different schools of thought, whether to include your mortgage principal or not. I just calculate both. So this is kind of the factor that changes between my 2 equations. But this month I put $357.05 towards the actual balance of my mortgage loan. And then D is my total income, and this $5,000 number is different than my take home. So my take home is $4,895.60. We saw this number from my Paycheck Report. That's my take home pay. But because I factor in my 401k and my HSA into my investing, I need to add those totals back into the income so I get my proper ratio. So here I'm adding in the total for my 401k and my HSA, because those come out of my check before it's deposited into my bank account. So that's why I have this 5397.96 number here. So to do some math here, let me get my phone and my calculator going. Okay, so we're going to do the mortgage principal first. So I've already written down the numbers and I tried to color coordinate so you guys can kind of see where I'm pulling these from. So 358.73 plus 637.14 plus 357.05. That gives me 1352.92. So I'm going to divide that by my total income, 53976, and multiply it by 100. So that's 2506. So 25% savings rate for December if I include the mortgage principal. So now let's come over here. We're going to do the same math, but instead of including the mortgage principal, I'm doing without now. So 358.73 plus 637.14 divided by, oops, no, I gotta add this first. So 995.87. Okay, now divided by my total income times 100, 18, and we'll call that 45. Okay, so I have my two savings rates. I'm just gonna write these on the overview sheet. Okay, so I have these written in here now, which is great. I like calculating this because it helps me measure each month objectively. Even though my total income can change and my expenses can change, I can see what percentage, I actually saved, I held on to, it didn't go away, that type of thing. So next is my total debt. I have been consumer debt free for the second half of this year, which is great. So $0. And my next big goal is funding this emergency fund. So I am at 50.24% of the way to my 3-month goal, which feels awesome to start the new year at 50%. Awesome. And then my net worth change. I don't always share with you guys like what my actual net worth is, but it went up just a little bit this month, pretty much stayed the same. So 0.59% increase over last month. Next, we've got my mortgage balance, $145,682.01. For reference, my original mortgage balance was $160,000, and I bought my house in May of 2018. So I'm very happy with where I'm at. I've paid off 8.94% of my mortgage, and I own 27.15% of my home. So before we go into the reflections and goals, I want to pause here and we're going to do some trackers. Okay, so here's my first one. This is my amortization schedule for my mortgage, and I've already written in the numbers. So this first column, I should probably label these. Okay, that's better. So the first column is the interest, and then I've got principal and then the balance. So what we have here is I make one extra payment to my mortgage a year, and I do that by taking one mortgage payment, dividing it by 12. So for me, 1/12 is $62.69. So that's how much extra I need to add to my mortgage payment each month. And to me, that feels a lot more manageable. So I have been paying extra on my mortgage, just one extra payment a year this whole time. So what's printed is what I was supposed to be paying in interest, principal, and what my balance was supposed to be. And what I write in is what it actually was. So my interest was supposed to be $482. I actually paid $471.58, so about $10 less, which is great. I was supposed to only pay $270 towards the actual balance, but I actually paid $357.05. My balance was supposed to be $149.146, but it's actually $145.682. So I'm feeling really great tracking this. Year over year, it gets better and better because you start to snowball more. So what I'm going to do is look at this number and see if I can cross anything else off of the list. So 145,682 is definitely lower than 145,838. But 682 is still above 557. So I'm not able to cross this one off. I only highlight it off after I've surpassed it. But what that means now is that I am a full year ahead of schedule on my mortgage. So that feels really, really great to track. I'm looking forward to seeing how far I can get in the new year. We'll be talking about this more in my 2021, financial wrap-up video that I'll be doing in a few days. Let's go into the next tracker. This is my retirement savings tracker. I kind of started it late in the year. I will be doing one of these for 2022. So my goal this year was $6,000 in retirement savings goal. I call it Margaret's money because my friend Alicia on Instagram posted about what helped her think about retirement and actually wanting to save towards retirement was thinking about her future self and giving her future self a name. And my full name is actually Margaret, but I go by Maggie, so I'm calling my future self Margaret. So that's why it's called Margaret's Money. It helps me think about my future self and saving for myself. So my goal was $6,000. In December, I put $100 in my Roth IRA. Oh, this is just contributions, I should say. My 401k, I put $187.50, and my HSA, I put $305. So my December total is $592.50, which means this year I've put a total of $57,1695 towards retirement. So I didn't quite meet that $6,000 goal. I was short by $283, but that's okay. That's better than I thought I was going to do this year. So the last part here, I'm just going to color in how far I got in the green color because that represents December. So there we go. That is that. And the next one here is my emergency fund savings. So I am tracking this in percentages with you guys. So if I flip this over, I'm keeping track. So in November, I was at 42.94%, and in December, I'm at 50.24%, which is awesome to see it grow so much over just 1 month. So I need to color in till I'm 50%, which would be this circle, and I'm just going to do like a little stripe here for the 0.24% on this next circle here. So I'm going to put some music on and speed it up while I color this in. So there we are. I am halfway to my 100% goal. And again, I am saving for 3 months of expenses plus $1,000 would be my 100%. So that is my update here. So let's just wrap up with my reflections and goals back on my overview sheet here. Okay. So reflections, I like to do both positive and negative just so that I'm balancing. For positive, my expenses were below 65%. I was under barely in groceries, but I was still under, so that's great. I used cash that I had saved up to pay for Christmas, and that felt really, really good to go into Christmas without bringing on any new debt. I was able to buy all the gifts I wanted to, plan dinners and meals for my friends and family, and that felt just really good to be able to do all of that without debt. And I also am very happy that I used my opportunity fund, that $90, to help fund those cards that we gave out. That was really awesome feeling, and like it made me feel like I was actually giving back to people I knew that could benefit from this money. And I had a couple of them say like, thank you, because this is a full tank of gas, or this is a grocery trip, or whatever. Like it makes a difference to some of these people. So that was really cool to be able to have some money set aside for an opportunity like that. A little bit of a negative, the break from work equals very expensive, so I need to budget for this better next year, but that's okay. My December goals, let's do a quick check-in. So I wanted to send $800 to my emergency fund. I didn't quite meet that goal. I was closer to $723, so I put it in red because it didn't happen, but it was still a good goal to have. I did stay within my gift budget. I did keep my expenses 65% or left. I did stay debt-free, and I did prep my annual budget. I do have a video about this one on my channel that I can link for you if you're interested. So 4 out of my 5 goals I did achieve. That's passing to me. That's pretty good. So the last thing we need to do is talk about my January goals. So I want to try to send $800 to my emergency fund again. That would be really great. I want to also keep my expenses 65% or less. I wanted to reset some of my sinking funds, and I actually already did that, so we can say yep. And I want to stay within my grocery budget. I know groceries are getting expensive. I know that my grocery store, being in a small town, is having limited stock. I definitely see it. I definitely feel it. But I'm just trying different recipes. I'm trying to bulk prep things. I'm trying to make foods like casseroles and chilies and crock pot dishes that can last me a few, meals at least. So that is going to be a goal as well. But that is it for my December overview. I hope that December was a good month for you guys. Let me know how you did down below in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. That's going to be it for me. I hope you guys are staying healthy and already having a great first week of the new year. I know it's a lot to come back to and everything, but we've got this. It is going to be a good year. I'm putting it out there. So I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching.